Welcome back. This is another video in the Recovery Manager for Active Directory Disaster Recovery Edition training. If you remember from our previous videos, we created a forest recovery project. We also walked through all of the options, toolbar buttons, and menus to see the different features in the console. And when we created this project, we made 3 domain controllers recover from bare metal. And then we had 3 other domain controllers, which we were going to replace with Windows servers by using install Active Directory from media, or DC Promo with IFM is what that actually does. Our backup selection was done as well. We didn't want to use the backup from today, so we changed our backup criteria to use a backup from before the 9th. That leaves us with a backup that was from the 8th, and after the 1st of September, which is a pretty wide gap. When you do that backup criteria, you get the most recent backups that match the criteria. So my bare metal backups are still some 34 days old. My system state backups, however, are only 2 days old. They're from the 8th. And down here you can see on my bare metal that my system state backup that I'll apply after doing the bare metal restore is also from the 8th. So all of these boxes have good backups. We're all ready for that. The other thing to realize is that I've already run a verify settings, and that is to create Windows RE images that I then booted these first 3 domain controllers from. So if I go in, I've got a folder just highlighted here. If I go into this path, you'll see that I've got these 3 ISO files, which are Windows RE or Windows Recovery Environment. I then took those ISO files and booted my 3 first servers here off of that. And if you want to see what that looks like, let me switch over to the blank host that is going to replace DC1, Acme DC1. And here you can see the bare metal recovery console is running, and this IP address that you see down below, that's actually the IP address of the original domain controller. So he is just waiting for a connection. We'll come visit him again in just a moment. So with all of that in place, and with my Windows hosts out here, the one thing I need to do is install agents on these Windows servers. So we'll do that next. Okay, to install agents on these Windows servers, I'm first just going to highlight the servers. And if you remember, there was a manage feature, manage forest recovery agents or DCs. So I'm reaching it this time through a pop-up menu instead of off the tools menu, but that makes the command context sensitive. So I've highlighted those servers that I need to install agents on. And when I go into this dialog, those are the only servers that are going to show. Now you'll see it's trying to retrieve status, but these guys don't have any agents. You can actually see the error message here. It says the forest recovery agent is stopped or not installed. All right, so I'll highlight all of these and I'll click on install agent, and that will push the agent out. Now, if you're running Windows Firewall on these standalone Windows servers, and I imagine in an actual disaster, you may be running Windows Firewall, it's okay to set up your recovery manager's agent, your forest recovery agent, by installing it manually. The agent is just an MSI file, and you could copy it onto these servers and run them individually to get the agent installed. But you will need to worry about your firewall, and we do have documentation in our manuals that tell you what ports need to be open to allow the agents to communicate freely with the recovery manager server. So I'd recommend that as well. And here you can see those agents have installed. So now everything looks good there. Again, I have my blank hosts running as well, so I'm ready to do a verify settings, and we'll do that next. Okay, let's run verify settings. I'm highlighting the first DC up here, one of the domain controllers that we know is waiting for a connection. And if I switch over here to look at Acme DC1, we'll be able to see when the connection reaches this server. Okay, and here we can see it's now waiting for a connection, so that's good. And we can see if I go back now to my recovery manager server, verify settings was good on all boxes. So we're ready now to start recovery. Now when you begin recovery, we always have 2 warning panels that pop up. The first one just makes sure that you've talked to CSS You've evaluated any alternative remedies. You've decided that forest recovery is the best way out of your problem. You've determined when the corruption was introduced. You have backups that were created from similar points in time, and of course were created before the problem began. And you've also informed Quest support, so we're ready to support you here at Quest. I'll check the box and click continue. And we give you one more warning. It just says that if you use this product in an incorrect way, it's possible to create a forest disaster. Well, hopefully you're only using this if you are in a forest disaster. So we'll just check that box and click run as well. Now, this process takes quite a bit of time. I'm going to let this run where we can watch it. And I will, first of all, just notice that the first machines, the IFM machines, are going to wait until the other domain controllers have finished doing their bare metal recovery. I'll hop back over here and look at that. You can see it's running pre-recovery checks, and now it's moving forward with getting the box to start recovery. If I come back onto the console here, you can see here a system state bare metal recovery has been started. We'll wait just a little bit longer, and we'll see the bare metal recovery process starting. So here we'll go back to our DC1 replacement, and you can see here the system reserve volume is being restored. And shortly after that, we'll see drive C begin. And there we go, drive C is beginning. There is a little itsy bitsy green bar over here. It's going to continue as the restore process continues. Again, we're going to watch this probably from here. Probably the best way to watch and see what's going on. And see that recovery finish all the way down. I'm going to maximize this window too. And resize my bottom window here so that we can see as much as possible in the recovery process. There we are. Okay, now I'm going to speed up the video here in a moment, but I wanted you to take a look at the steps that I'm showing in the lower window. Not just the restore from backup steps that happen, but everything in the configure phase. These are important steps to make sure that Active Directory is in sync. And the steps that are listed there have to be done in coordination with the other DCs. So it's a great thing to automate. It's a very hard thing to do manually. Seizing FSMA roles, selecting a preferred DNS server, raising the RID pool, cleaning out any metadata for domain controllers that don't recover, resetting computer account, trust relationship, and the KRBTGT account passwords twice. All of those are very important. And you'll notice that the other DCs, the ones that are having installed from media, they're going to wait until all the other DCs have finished their restore from backup. And now you can see they're starting to move forwards. And the install Active Directory from media will finish quite easily. Notice that we automatically copy the backup file onto the machine and then extract it. And then once it's done, we'll enable Windows Update and everything will be set. And there it is. Now, typically after a recovery like this, you need to wait maybe even an hour for replication to kind of settle back in. Really, the KCC needs to get its job done and get replication working again. So be patient, but the forest will come back to normal. And that concludes this recording. I hope this video was helpful. Have a great day.